Actually, and that takes me on to an important point. You say both parties haven't kind of realised this. This is an extraordinarily important thing. What would you like to see the government doing, or the Conservative Party doing, to counter this agenda? When we last spoke, we were talking about the hate crime bill going through Scotland, and you were very clear about that, about not being able to talk about what you want in your own home. What would you like to see them do to actually counter this apparent insistent agenda which seems to brook no opposition?
Well, they've taken a sort of half step, if you like, in the Queen's speech, where they're going to actually come down quite hard on universities which deplatform and discriminate against people on the basis of their views. But why on earth just the universities? Now, I know that's where it can be at its worst, and that it's very dangerous if young people get into that habit. I do understand that, but nevertheless, this is something that affects everybody. People can't get gigs if they say the wrong thing. Their theatre tours, and don't I know it, are cancelled if they say the wrong thing. And so we need this to stretch well beyond the universities. There has to be free speech guaranteed by law, which once I would never have thought we would have had to say in this country, but now we do. We need to guarantee free speech by law, and that must be backed up with penalties which will really bite and make people think twice.
Have you been cancelled or deplatformed, Anne?
Yes, I have. Only once on any scale, but it was shortly after the elections for the European Parliament in 2019, and I was interviewed on Sky, and I was asked in the course of that interview about my views on gay rights, and specifically, very specifically, about whether people should transition sexuality. And I said, well, it can't be done at the moment, but we once thought that you couldn't change a man into a woman or a woman into a man. So presumably, at some stage science might be able to. That was all I said. I didn't pass a value judgment on whether it would be a good thing or a bad thing. I certainly never used the word cure. I wouldn't have dreamt of it. But it was reported in inflated terms, really inflated terms. And I suddenly started losing. I was doing a theatre tour. I suddenly started finding my theatre appearances cancelled because people had protested that I should be invited. Now, what was I talking about on those tours? Strictly Come Dancing. Big Brother. Wasn't talking about that issue. And if I hadn't been asked about it in the interview, I would never have raised it, wouldn't have dreamt of raising it. And I didn't say the things that people believe I said, even though it's there on the record. They can check for themselves. And in fact, I was doing an interview some months afterwards with Ian Dale, who is, of course, openly gay. And he and I are friends. And I said to him on air, I said, Ian, if I thought 1/4 of what people say I think, would you want to know me? And he said no. But I couldn't help the exaggeration. That was not within my control. But I had to pay the penalty. Now, I think the law should have protected not only me, because I'm retired and these things, they are not going to determine my livelihood or my ability to pay a mortgage or to keep my family in food. Not going to do anything like that. But for hundreds of people, that's exactly the impact it would have.